Welcome to In the Background of Life with Kelly Ramsey, the podcast that invites you to sit down in a cozy living space, sipping a cup of tea while we embark on a captivating journey about our intentional narratives in our lives. I'm Kelly Ramsey, and this podcast is your warm space to unravel the stories woven into everyday moments. It's a tapestry crafted with intention and purpose. So grab your favorite cup of tea, settle in, and let's explore the unnoticed details that contribute to the intentional design of the world around us. Together, we'll celebrate the beauty in the threads that make life extraordinary. Hello, welcome in. This is our first episode for the new year, 2025. So happy New Year to those listeners that are joining us again. If you're new and joining us for the first time, you're in for an exciting time. And we're going to be really thinking about what does this year bring for us in 2025. And so our next two episodes are going to be about crafting the vision for our life and creating a blueprint for success. So we're going to just pop right in. So I'm Kelly Ramsey. I am the owner of Developing People Incorporated and the podcast host for In the Background of Life with Kelly Ramsey. It's always been my hope that we live a life full of intention. And so this podcast gives a little background information on how we accomplish that. So I'm going to share a few of my own traits and secrets, and we're going to talk about the power of vision boards in shaping our life goals. So when we think about this, I think about my own journey, which I'll share a little bit about, on how vision boards have helped me in my journey as a business entrepreneur, as a mom, as a worker in the field of work, and as a visionary for creating new spaces and places for other people. So the encouragement is that whether you're new or experienced, this episode will guide you in creating a vision board. It takes on many forms, but the purpose is for us to really look at why vision boards matter. And what do you do to start preparing for your vision board? So that's what we're going to talk about in this first segment. So let's just jump right into it. There is a psychology behind visualization and manifestation of our goals. So vision boards matter because the science shows that the brain reacts to visualization similarly to real experiences. I know when I'm writing out my goals for the week, writing it on a piece of paper, seeing it unfold, as you will, as I'm writing, and then reading it out loud always provokes a picture of what that could look like. So studies on athletes and high achievers show that visualizing success helps the brain to create neural pathways that support achieving goals. So one of my goals when I was starting early in my career in early childhood education was to complete a CDA, a Child Development Associate credential. So I had envisioned what this would mean for me, what opportunities it would mean. And when I was sitting in the class, there was a teacher sharing, and she was giving out misinformation. And so when I started to read the book and it didn't match up with what she was saying, I made a choice that when I finished getting this credential, I was going to teach CDA classes and I was going to give out real information and help people walk through their process and to ensure they had success. So I visualized myself at the front of the room, teaching the classes, sharing the anecdotes of working with young children and families, and helping people to have success in their classes as they were moving through. So have you know, 2 years later, I was teaching CDA classes and doing just that. I remember one group in particular at a school, of ladies who had worked in the field of early childhood for lots of years, but going through the process with them over a year span time to ensure that they understood, but also that I honored the work that they were already doing. Because I had seen myself as an instructor who was really engaged, I could manifest that because of the goal and the vision that I set. So when we see our dreams daily and we see them coming to fruition, we start making a subconscious decision to bring them to life. So that vision board is more than pictures on a wall. It's more than the ideas or words that you have there, but you have this powerful visualization of where you want to go. So think about some of the people that you admire and you see them achieving great success. One of those people for me, I think about often is Maya Angelou. Such high respect for who she is. But if you know her background and her story growing up in stamps, she didn't have a lot growing up, but she had a vivid imagination and she had ideas. Those ideas and that vivid imagination and her hard work is what caused her to have great success. And so knowing that, that's another reason why I create these vision boards and I help others to learn how to do that as well. So my vision boards over the years have changed and digressed. When I first started out, it was a pile of magazines that I tore out pages that spoke to me. I had a glue stick and I stuck it on the poster board, a little thin poster board, and I put it up on the back of my door. And I would pass by that vision board and kind of remember some of the things that I had, but it never really came to life because I didn't include it into my everyday world. And so as I was beginning to create that, I needed to align what I put on that vision board with my life and the dreams that I had for both my family, my business, and my own personal growth. So it wasn't just things I wanted to achieve, a new house, a new car, but it was also how I wanted to live and how I wanted to manifest those dreams and ideas. The difference between intention setting and passive dreaming is that a vision board is not magical. So just because you create a vision board with all the things doesn't mean that it will work unless we put action to those dreams. And so I can remember one of my vision boards. So this would have been in probably about 2014. I manifested it by 2016, was to get a new home. And so we had outgrown our home. The boys were getting bigger and our home was too small. Shout out to Habitat for Humanity. That was my first home as a single woman when I moved here to Oklahoma, and it met all of my needs. We used every bit of space, and we were in that house for 20 years. Sold, paid it off, sold it, and then because I had created on my vision board, I had put forth some steps. I rented a storage 2 years before, and I was like, we are going to start packing boxes because we are moving to a new house. So I had the idea. I put action behind it. I took a picture of the storage and me getting the keys and opening it up. And then I slowly started packing away things and packing up boxes, putting it in the storage, and then also packing up the house. And we cut some spending. We cut like going on our family vacation for the summer because we needed to put this money towards getting a new house. So December 2016, keys in hand to the new house, U-Haul in the driveway, we unpacked those boxes and we moved in. All of that was because I had a dream, an idea, a goal for my family and what that looked like. So you have to pair that visualization with real action steps to make it happen. Think of it like this. Think of it as planting seeds in the ground. So you have the seeds, you've imagined, I'm going to reap the harvest. You put them in the soil and you put it in the window for sun, but you never water it. So what happens? The seeds dry up. They never come to fruition, because you didn't nurture the vision and the idea. You still have to water them and nurture them so that they can come to fruition. So that's why vision boards matter. I want to share with you a little bit as well of the timing of when you do your vision board. So many people at the start of a new year are like, I have to have my vision board party, or invite my girls over and create these vision boards. And I'm going to create my own, or do I create it with the family? And we think we've missed the mark because we haven't done it at the beginning of the year. And so sometimes I will wait purposely as at the end of January into February to really settle in, what do I want for this coming year? What do I want to see myself grow in? How do I want to see it come to fruition? In all honesty, in January, I'm still getting over the holidays. I'm still getting over all of the gatherings and all the things that we've had to do. And so I like a little downtime to really think about it. And I also don't want to be caught up in the commercialism of creating your vision and planning your life and all the things. I want to quiet the noise, and then I want to settle in, and then I want to create my vision board. So sometimes I will wait around February in order to do that, and then I begin my preparation. So that's the next phase. So you want to prepare for your vision board. Again, we want to set clear intentions, and we want to have clarity before creativity. So it could be really cutesy and all the things and stickers, and maybe making a digital version, a Canva design, and it looks really good. But before we can create that, we need to have clarity. So you say clarity on what? So clarity on taking a few minutes just to reflect. So what I recommend is getting out a piece of paper or a journal. If you're keeping a journal of your ideas for the year, starting that journal with this process would be great, because then you can go back and you can refer to it. So I asked myself, what are my top 3 to 5 life goals for this year? So just that simple question. What are my top 3 to 5 life goals for this year? And then once I define that, I think about, how do I want to feel in my daily life? Do I want to feel successful? Do I want to feel strong, courageous, or joyful? What is daily life going to look like? So as I'm thinking about that question, I'm thinking about the images of what that looks like. So maybe I'm running in nature, or maybe I'm sitting quietly by a stream. And so I'll find pictures about how I want to feel. I remember last year in my board, I started with something in the center, my word for the year. And last year was a phrase, it wasn't a word. And so it was all about taking the time to learn who I was and what I wanted. And so it was time to soar was the phrase that I used. And so in the center, that's what I had with some words. And then around that, I talked about how I wanted to grow things, how I wanted to be in spaces, how I wanted to create growth for others. So the images began to portray that, and how I wanted to build. So I had some architecture on there, but it was building out that idea in all the different quadrants. And when I began to look at it, it was fitting in with how I wanted to be in all my different roles that I play. And so thinking about that, not only what those 3 to 5 goals are, but also how do you want to feel every day in your daily life? The third question is, what kind of legacy do I want to build? What do you want to build for your family, for your loved ones? What do you want to build as far as your goals for work? Maybe you want to start a new job or do some different things. So thinking about legacy brings it beyond your own ideas to the things that you want to build for your family. So one of the things I always think about my legacy, I think about my children. and I think about being available to them and how I want to show up as their mom. And so as I'm doing that, right now, I'm always considering how I show up for them, but also how I clue them in to what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And then the other one is that you want to think about, what are some of your dreams that you've been afraid to speak out loud? Sometimes our dreams don't come to reality because we've never said it, because it seems so big or so far to reach. And so, how do we reach that and begin to grow those ideas? The first part is creating a picture of it, a vision of it, and then investigating, what will it take for me to realize that? So sometimes we think the dreams are too big, and we forget that the dreams are just a little stop and drop, and then you put action to it, and then you realize it. So those are just 4 things that you want to consider. And so in our notes, we will jot those notes down on the show notes so you can go back. And be sure to go back and answer those questions, because those are really, really important. Now, as you're building out your vision board, you do need to gather some materials. It can be as simple as you want it, or it can be more elaborate. If you're creating a physical vision board, you'll need, like I had, a poster board, scissors, some glue, magazines, or printouts, affirmations, maybe words. And I like to collect all of my things and have them available before I start to build it out. And I do what I call like little clusters. So I may look at the words that really speak to me. I put on some music, listen to my music, and then I begin to just build it out. The other thing is that you'll want to have some personal photos that you can include. And so you can have those printed out ahead of time. If you're doing a digital vision board, like using Canva or Pinterest or Google Slides, it's a great one to create, and then you can keep it on your phone. So remember, you want to have it so the visualization is there so you can see it. And so I've done it 2 ways. I've created a digital version, but I've also taken a picture of my finished vision board and saved it as my screensaver. So my vision is always with me, and I'm always building it up. So other key elements that sometimes I add are inspirational quotes that align with my mindset shift. I choose a word for the year, and so my word for the year will also show up in that as well. And then using words like thrive, create, build, and creating images that tie to those words are tied to those goals. So that's what we need to get started. I'm really, really excited that we're going to be talking about this for the next section. And we're going to be giving you actual concrete ideas of what to build your vision board upon. So you want to tune in to our next episode. You also want to go back, review the show notes so that you have those action items that you want to do. And I would really encourage you to try those things out, actually get your journal out, write it down before the next session so that you can create your own vision board. And if you get ahead and you finish your vision board, be sure to tag me at Develop People. I would love to see what you're creating and love to come alongside. And you can also share your story of what it was like to identify those goals. We would love to hear about it. And be sure to like and subscribe our channel and continue to follow us along. So thank you for spending time today. Don't miss the next episode where we're going to delve into some details of the categories that will be on your vision board as we move forward. So have a great day. This episode of In the Background of Life with Kelly Ramsey is brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform.